Morning, Vicky.
Hello.
Hello. Right, so I've asked you to come along, having been at a Carers First event,
Yep,
and I sat in on one of your talks that you did, and we were talking about frauds and scams, or scams in
yep,
particular, I believe. And I felt that this was an area that we need to just look at, not in great detail, but just to bring an awareness to
absolutely.
the people that are out there because it's happening every day.
Yep,
And I'd be surprised if somebody listening has never ever been sort of contacted with regards to being scammed, not
yeah,
necessarily got scammed, but has had the phone calls or whatever. So just wanted to bring you along, say who you are, what it is you do, and then we'll do a series of something like six videos,
hmm,
short videos that they can follow on one after the other, just so that we can give a nice sort of easy listening to to me it's a very interesting subject.
yeah.
Okay,
I
so if
think,
I can leave it over to you and
yeah, absolutely. So my name's Vicky Salmon and I work for Lincolnshire County Council. I work in the community safety team and my background is from trading standards. And right now the work I do focuses on fraud and scams, and so that's where I met you before, and that's why I'd like to talk to you and share this information with everybody.
brilliant. Okay. So the first thing I think that caught me is there's quite a lot of different types of scams and there's headings for them. So what sort of different scams or frauds is out there and they're actively being used throughout the country right now?
Yeah, I'd love to give you a list. But unfortunately, there are many different fraud and scams. And people use those words interchangeably, by the way. And most people, and for the most part, they're the same thing. A scam is a fraud. It's just another word for it. So I don't want people to get tangled up in the language. But so AI has changed the face of fraud, really. And we know from the most recent government report, or the most recent strategy, that 45% of all crime now is fraud. And it's not all scams, there's lots of other kinds of fraud that goes on. But yeah, it's a lot of crime is focused on fraud. And that's why I want to talk about it. AI, like I say, changing it massively. I just want to recognize, though, that even though we're seeing this change in this development in technology, what we would call the old scams, the postal lotteries and things like that, they still exist as well. And almost when our eyes are detracted from all of the focus on AI and things like that, I don't want people to forget that fraudsters may still knock on our door and offer to do work on our gardens or our driveways. And they may also still send us letters pretending that um, we've got a big inheritance coming. So there are lots of different kinds, but I don't want people to think that the old ones have gone, because they haven't.
No.
Like I've said, AI is really taking over. We're seeing lots of celebrity scams, fake emails, fake investment scams, and where we used to be able to say to people, look for those mistakes in spelling and grammar. Of course, AI is not making mistakes. That's making it difficult. We're seeing a lot of scams around employment. And I would say that, particularly as we go into maybe another bit of a cost of living crisis, that we might see something like that again. And that links then to HMRC scams and benefit scams, really all walks of life. And as the weather changes now, we're seeing an increase in holiday scams, whether that's like a fake travel agent connected to people being in the Middle East at the moment, or
Mm.
whether it's cheap and bargain holidays to get away. So we'll see those. I think the other thing to look out for coming up would be stuff around summer tickets and then the World Cup. So stuff around tickets for the World Cup, but also all the associated products and paraphernalia that would go along with that. So really what I'm saying for you is, if something exists, then there may well be a scam or a fraud associated with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think hopefully throughout these little conversations that we're going to have, the main emphasis that I want to give everybody is that if you, not even if you think it might be fraud, just stop for a moment and think, is it fraud?
yeah,
And, you know, it may well not be, but if we allow ourselves a little bit of time to stop for a few moments and think, then that's going to give us the best protection ever.
yeah, yeah, definitely. The one that gets me or phones me up an awful lot is my mobile phone companies and that wanting to offer me better deals and
Yeah,
things like that. And when you do that, they always ask you for passwords and everything else. Can you do this? And I say, well, you phoned me, so you must have that information. So we can carry on with the conversation without the passwords because you know who I am because you phoned me, or I'll just phone back if I want information.
yeah,
Because you just don't know.
yeah.
If they become too convincing that we definitely need this, I just say, no, I'm sorry, I'll phone you up and I'll talk to
Yes,
you once
I'll
I'm
make my own.
available.
And I think that's the best thing, doing our own research, making our own inquiries. And like I say, I would love to give you a list, um, but I couldn't possibly. And I think if I gave you a list, I wouldn't be doing this conversation justice. And hopefully, in some of the other questions that we're going to look at, we can look at what the fraudsters do and how they use their techniques that will help us spot the frauds.
Yeah,
But I would say over the next few months, those ones, the weather changes, the sport coming up would be the big ones. The changes in current affairs and AI would be the biggest risk areas. But
yeah,
there's a lot, and hopefully we can give some examples and people can understand what to look for.
brilliant. Okay, well, hopefully that's brought it into light is that if unsure, just stop and do your research, really,
Yeah.
basically, isn't it, really? And that's the only way you're going to stop it because it's just too wide um, an area to try and cover and pin down. Um, so yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we'll see you on the next recording. If I ever get to know how to stop it.